Alright, it's time for what you all have been waiting for. Today we're gonna be watching the darkest moments in TV history 2. I think so we have seen 1, 3 and 5 I think so. Or 1 and 5, I think so. We have watched two of them before, okay? So yeah, we're gonna watch another one tonight, okay? Yeah, same channel, Nick Crowdy. Let's get it. Darkest moment in TV history. These are always crazy, man. Always eye-opening. So make sure to follow along. Let's get it. The first one is the Xuxa Park disaster, and these are from all over the world, not from US or UK or just not from one country. All over the world TV. Yes. Discretion is advised. Okay, what show is this now?
January 11th, 2001, famed Brazilian actress, model, and singer Xuxa lands her prop spaceship on the stage of a Brazilian TV set and begins.
Do any of you all know her? Know her not personally, like know her like who she was, what songs or what she was famous for.
Her show the way she always does. The program, titled Xuxa Park, was a hit for the Ready Global Network, targeting a demographic of young children with its over-the-top dance numbers, fun games, and immersive futuristic sets. Premiering back in the summer of '94, Xuxa Park had shown little signs of slowing down by the turn of the century, and seemed poised for a long, impressive run, barring any unforeseen disaster. On this particular day, 300 children were in attendance to watch or participate in the show's activities. Xuxa's infectious energy led the way from segment to segment as they played games, showed cartoons, and of course sang their songs. And by the end of the episode,
I feel like this is not in English. This show wasn't in English language. It was some other language, maybe Spanish or something.
The crew had all gathered on stage to perform one last musical number. To end things off with a bang.
What happened?
And evidently, that's exactly what would happen.
What? Light went off? What?
This frame was taken just over 1 minute later, revealing all that remained of the set, as within that impossibly short window of time, the once bright and inviting scenery was turned to a pitch-black, unrecognizable hellscape, barely comprehensible to the camera that was also just mere moments away from being swallowed by the flames. But not
What is he talking about?
before it would capture the carnage firsthand.
What is it? Oh, fire! Oh, damn! Oh my god! Wow! How did that happen? Looks like some cause of electricity or something. So whole set went down.
The spaceship which Xuxa had rode in on and was moments away from re-entering to leave the set would catch fire, all while the dancers continued their performance, unaware of the emerging danger behind them. A member of the staff quickly enters the frame in an attempt to extinguish the flames, but
I'm sure that guy saw the fire starting, so he's already starting the fire extinguisher, but it was too much to handle.
It was already too late. As just a few seconds after the spark, the entire ship was engulfed by the blaze, causing a mass panic on the set. Worst of all, directly next to the fiery ship, and just barely out of view of the camera, was the show's signature Ferris wheel, which kids
don't tell me kids were on it.
Would ride during the program, including during this very moment. As the fire raged, one boy was trapped in his seat, helpless to the danger unfolding around him. And noticing this, a group of brave people on scene began desperately trying to free him, which can just barely be seen on the left-hand side of the screen. Thankfully, their attempts proved successful, as he was eventually freed from his seat and carried to safety.
Good.
The fire was later determined to have started by an electrical short circuit.
That's what I thought
too.
It
would soon be completely turned to ash and rubble. But as for the nearly 300 children and numerous staff on scene, despite multiple injuries, everyone had somehow managed to escape the building with their lives. With the only reported fatality being the show itself. as this would be the last episode ever filmed, with Xuxa Park being swiftly cancelled.
Oh man. But yeah, I get it. It was not her fault, But yeah, better to, better to cut it off, better to cancel it or finish it, put an end to it. I mean, they lost a lot of money, and I'm sure people won't gonna go to that show again like they used to. So, but it looked like they all were having a lot of fun, man. Shusha and all those kids, though. Damn.
Thankfully, this moment saw all parties involved survive the ordeal, a rarity in the world of disturbing television moments. Though it does highlight just how quickly things can go downhill when the cameras are rolling. And when these dark moments ultimately happen, all we can really do is watch.
Alright, Nick Crowley, let's get it to the next one. The darkest moment in TV history, part 2. What do we got for the next story? The name is Buried.
Online.
Buried, alright.
There are very few manners of death that strike fear among us as much as the horrifying prospect of being buried alive. The dark, claustrophobic nature of it, slowly losing oxygen with not a thing in the world you can do to stop it. It just strikes a chilling chord with so many. However, with this fear arose a unique opportunity.
Don't tell me they did a show like, those daring show, those talent show where, I can do this, I can get trapped in a car underwater and I can, escape that. So I guess they're gonna do something like this and bury the guy alive in there and something crazy gonna happen to him, Not good thing, at least. But yeah, let's see.
Those looking to make a spectacle. Rather than running from this mortal fear, a select few magicians and daredevils have tried their hand
Mr.
at the
Beast
challenge of
did
being
it.
buried alive, by not just surviving, but escaping. The trick was popularized by arguably the greatest magician of all time, Harry Houdini, who tried his hand at the stunt on a few separate occasions, the first of which would see him narrowly escape a casket buried under 6 feet of dirt by breaking through the surface with his fist, only to fall unconscious before he could complete the trick, with the stunt almost ending in his death. From there, he would be buried again on 2 separate occasions, surviving both for well over an hour, but never being able to fully pull himself out, and in turn pull off the seemingly impossible. Houdini did have plans to give it one more try in 1927, when he believed the stunt would finally be completed, but sadly he would pass away before getting the opportunity. Because of this, the trick is acted as somewhat of a magnum opus for any magician able to pull off the feat, a feat that even the great Houdini
Bro thinks he's Undertaker
himself couldn't accomplish. And so, on the 66th anniversary of his death, American escape artist Bill Shirk would honor the late magician by attempting to do just that.
No way.
For the stunt, Shirk would add extra elements of flair, upping the danger by being handcuffed and having cement poured over top of the casket as opposed to just dirt.
No
and he
way.
planned on doing it all with a TV crew on hand.
Oh man.
However, from the get-go, things seemed to be off with the performance, as Shirk expressed concern over the grave being dug too wide and too long, thus changing the dynamics of his escape.
If I make this, I got a bad feeling about this thing.
Okay, but is someone forcing him to do it? If he got a bad feeling, don't do it. I get it that all the camera crews, everyone is here. I mean, unless he have signed some paper or something, then why he's doing it?
At one point, when the first layer of dirt was being applied, Shirk would use his walkie-talkie to tell his team to call off the whole ordeal and to pull him up from the ground, seemingly in a moment of clarity. But everything was already in motion. This was...
Okay, but if he's asking you to pull him out, dude. Why they are still burying him?
With everyone watching, he couldn't afford to fail. Besides, he had been buried.
He had all the pressure from
setting a record back in 1977 by spending a total of 79 hours beneath the surface of the earth.
Whoa.
He was no stranger to this, and not wanting to...
Yeah, I get it. He was experienced in this and all that. Man, being down for 79 hours? Golly. Dude, that's crazy though. And coming out alive. But listen, but the thing is, I think so the the thing that will make a difference is this time he's using a cement. Before he's been using just a what do you call, just a mud or sand, whatever you can say. Yeah, that can make a big difference, dude. But for this time he wasn't feeling it. He was like, I got a bad feeling about this. I got a bad feeling. But all the crew, all those people, all the audience, he got pressure from them. Like, I said I will do it. Oh, I guess I'll have to do it now. So you can say.
Let his fans down, Bill Shirk would change his mind and continue the stunt by giving his team the green light.
Bro, he should have chosen dirt.
The cement. And as that concrete began to settle and harden over top of the
casket,
casket,
like how can he come out when concrete will dry? Once it dry, concrete is concrete, dude. Wherever the hell you put it, it's gonna get dry. It's gonna get hard. It's gonna, how will he pull himself out? Dirt is dirt. Dirt is way different than concrete. Dirt you can do something. It doesn't get dry, or wet is better, I think so, because it's in the rain, all that. But whatever, damn, not a good idea. Not a good idea at all.
Things take a very grim turn.
Decides to go ahead.
I think we gotta go.
Tons of concrete are poured.
Whoa, no.
Suddenly, the concrete sinks. The coffin has been crushed.
Man.
Almost immediately, the level of liquid concrete dips dramatically.
Right.
Large bubbles appear on the surface, accompanied by a massive splashing noise.
Okay, does that mean concrete got into the casket? Bro, don't tell me that. No way.
Signs that point to only one real possibility, that the weight of the concrete and dirt had caused the coffin to cave in. With those very
Oh, okay. But I'm wrong. So it's like it's fully kind of buried.
very same materials instantly filling in any available space inside the coffin, and in turn, suffocating Shirk.
Told you.
The rescue effort was underway almost instantly, but still, it felt like it was all moving in slow motion.
Of course, dude. Like, once that thing is in, it's gonna come more fast and fast. And the more time goes on, the more time pass, the more hard it's gonna get.
And most assumed right away that if the weight of the concrete alone had not killed him, then the lack of oxygen certainly would.
A backhoe digs and digs, and crucial moments pass.
Nope.
Shirk cannot be found.
Damn. Wow, bro. So he got out. But I'm sure he will be like unconscious and may die later. I don't know. I hope not, but I feel like they're gonna say that.
However, this thankfully wouldn't be the case. Incredibly, Shirk managed to claw his way to the surface, where his team was able to pull him to safety and rush him into an awaiting ambulance.
That is
and though
so
his condition
cool, though.
appeared severe, he was alive and had somehow cheated death.
Thank God he spared my life on this one, and
Damn, that's crazy to survive that. Sheesh.
it'll be a while before I'll do one of these. I'll tell you that.
Despite claiming to be done with his stunt for a while, Shirk would be back to attempting his death-defying stunts soon after,
No
with some
way.
ending in similar results.
After Shirk climbs in the casket.
So this is the last one I think so he did, and which will go terribly wrong, I guess.
But there's a problem, and Shirk
No way. Bro, this guy is crazy. So first he has been doing normal, then he switched dirt with cement. He survived that. Now he's like, put a goddamn anaconda or whatever, the snake. Look at the size of that thing, dude. And put that with me in the coffin and then bury me. I guess I'm sure he's gonna say cement. Or could be even dirt. Even dirt would be crazy, dude. I don't even want to be with a snake. Snake in a room, man. Like, what the hell? How?
has to get help.
Oh no. It already got him. No way. Don't tell me it bit his neck. I can tell it has started, that rolling thing the snake does. Damn it. Already?
But although Bill Shirk was able to escape this trick with his life, not everyone has been so lucky. 2 years prior to Shirk's run-in with death, another performer known as the Amazing Joe had attempted the same stunt at an amusement park, also going the route of having dirt and wet cement poured over his plastic and glass coffin. This was Joe's attempt at becoming a master escape artist, and forever etching himself into the history books of this particular niche. In fact, he had already done what Houdini couldn't, as years prior he had escaped from a wooden coffin covered in 6 feet of dirt. But this attempt was clearly much more extreme, and with it should have come an immense amount of planning, not only by Joe himself, but the team around him. However, according to reports, the coffin used was never actually tested to see if it could withstand such a great amount of weight.
Yeah, cement of course weight more than dirt.
So he never tested the weight of the cement itself,
yeah,
and the speed in which it would harden. Joe was quite literally going into this blind, and his confidence was apparent, as the cherry on top of this poor planning was the fact that no rescue procedure was in place should the stunt go horribly wrong. And unsurprisingly, well, that's exactly what would happen.
It was a cold night anyway, and when it sunk, I just knew.
Damn, they literally made it flat, like nothing is under it, you know, full on flat. That guy just have to come out of that coffin and just climb up with the cement. Damn, that's crazy. I cannot do that.
Trouble. We're in trouble. It's not fun anymore.
Much like the footage from Bill Shirk's attempted escape, the level of cement and dirt suddenly dips, only this time in a much more dramatic fashion, with the cave-in being so brutal that I'm not sure I'll even be allowed to show it on YouTube.
Really?
According to many onlookers there, the coffin being destroyed by that immense weight caused a massive crashing noise, followed by immense panic from those trying to rescue Joe. But without a proper plan, the situation quickly grew helpless.
Oh, they got him out.
Entrapped beneath that dirt, surrounded by cheering fans, his parents, and a TV camera, the Amazing Joe would lose his life, ironically within a coffin, buried 6 feet under.
I mean, yeah, just leave him there. He's already in coffin and all that. Just saying. But not a good idea. Not a goddamn... Who does that? How can you do that? I don't think so anyone does that these days, at least. I hope not. I mean, Mr. Beast do stuff like this, but he's under all surveillance, all that, cameras, blah blah blah, you know. Anytime he, I think so, he have some remote. Anytime he doesn't feel good, he can just tap it and boom, they can get him out. But bro, like doing these with all the cameras, with cement, I think cement was just another crazy level, which, you know, which was like, I mean, cement is cement, dude, you know. Like, it's, first of all, it's heavy. It, as the time passes, it gets more hard, which is even, you know, if you want to go up, or if the people want to dig him out, it will be more hard for both of them. So yeah, bro, this was crazy, dude. The next one we got is Shannon Stone. Shannon Stone. Stone or
Sporting
Store?
events are no stranger to disturbing TV moments, from hockey players having their throats cut open.
Well, folks, this is ugly.
Yeah, I think so. I have seen this one. The guy swing the hockey thing, and yeah, opened his throat up. And I think so. He later he said he didn't meant. Some said he did on purpose, and some said he did not. It was an accident, but that thing came right open, dude. Like, boom, clean cut. That was bad.
Richard Zednik is cut wide open.
To a football player suffering cardiac arrest right there on the field.
They have been administering CPR through these past 2 breaks.
Yeah,
that
these
we've
sports
taken.
are crazy, man, especially
It's unfortunately always
football.
a risk in practically any televised sport out there. And although there's always a lingering chance that at any moment things could go terribly wrong, that risk mainly pertains to the players actually participating in the sport, and you likely wouldn't imagine fans being in any sort of danger as they sit by watching the game.
Also the thing I get scared of in a stadium, I never been to stadium in my whole life, never been to any show in my whole life where, you know, where are like hundreds of thousands of people together with a, and the only thing that scares me, especially when I watch football match and all that, is when they have like two-story stadiums. I feel so scared, like bro, like there are people cheering, jumping on it, you know, all that. What if that thing just fall and crush the other people? I hope it never happens, but dude, like what if like it's just metal and stuff, you know. But and I have seen some stadiums, some good popular stadiums with really bad like, you know, like all the safety, like really like with safety issues. Whatever, let's see what happens here with the
it
fan.
Does happen from time to time, with perhaps the most notable example.
Oh, why I feel like someone gonna hit someone with a ball or a bat, and the person gonna, you know.
Being the story of Shannon Stone. Shannon was a 39-year-old firefighter who,
Okay.
on the 7th of July, 2011, took his son Cooper to watch a Texas Rangers game in Arlington. This was
Alright.
the perfect bonding opportunity for the duo, and an even better opportunity to catch fly balls, as their seats left them in prime position to take home an unforgettable souvenir. The two would even stop at a sporting store beforehand, where Shannon would buy his son a baseball glove to use in the event that a loose ball came flying their way.
Cool.
And as the game reached the top of the second inning, their moment had finally arrived.
Okay, alright.
That one lined but foul. When I look at who the A's are facing.
He got it.
A foul ball was hit in their general direction, being quickly recovered by Rangers outfielder Josh Hamilton. And rather than returning the ball to the dugout or the field itself, Hamilton decided to make Cooper's day, recognizing the young fan in the stands and subsequently tossing the ball to Shannon. As this was all transpiring, the game continued with the pitcher preparing for his next throw.
Alright.
Before suddenly, you can hear the sound of something strange.
What?
I want them to be great in their last strike. I would rather have that than
Oh, what was that?
Where he gets knocked out.
It almost seemed like yelling, which was followed by some sort of strong reaction from the crowd, which in turn led to an immediate stoppage of play, as the announcers were left trying to figure out what exactly was happening, until they finally received word on the unfolding situation.
What?
He's got a lot of energy built up. I think somebody fell out of the stands in left field trying to field a baseball guy. Well, this is it.
No.
That's
Oh
why
man.
there's time taken. Wow.
So someone throw the ball at someone else in the, you know, outside of the field. So he was trying to catch it and he fell. He fell where? Looks like it's just, you know, it's just like 2 or 3 feet. That's it. I felt his
The man
angle of
in this
falling
footage
was
in fact
bad.
Shannon Stone, and as Josh Hamilton had gone to toss the ball up to him,
Oh,
the
it's not coming from someone else. It's coming from outside, all right.
throw fell just a bit short, causing the 39-year-old father to extend past the railing
Okay.
before losing his balance. And despite the seemingly playful nature of the announcers at the time,
You were right, Ray. Somebody did tumble.
Oh, like he fell deep.
this fall
Why are the commentators laughing, bro? What?
was no laughing matter.
Yeah,
as below
exactly.
that railing stood a 20-foot fall directly onto a
20 feet, golly.
concrete floor, which Shannon would strike head first.
Oh man.
As he laid there on the ground, barely able to move, the man was miraculously still conscious, finding the strength to tell the rescue team carrying him out, "Please check on my son. My son was up there all by himself." Based on this
All
reaction,
right.
it was clear that Stone was obviously alive and had clear brain function,
Uh-huh.
making his initial prognosis on the scene somewhat promising. But before he would even reach a nearby hospital, Shannon Stone would be pronounced dead.
Oh man.
According to many medical professionals, this immediate showing of brain function was more or less a fluke occurrence, and something they call a lucid interval, which is a window of conscious clarity after a traumatic injury, essentially meaning that although his ability to move and speak seemed to be a positive indicator, it was instead a sign that the injuries his brain had suffered were going to be fatal. In the years since, Shannon Stone's memory lives on with a statue being made in his honor in that very stadium where his life came to an end, forever immortalizing someone who, by all accounts, was a great man. and an
Whoa,
even better
that's
father.
good. Where is his son? Where is his son though? I hope he's happy and, you know, I know it's hard to be happy, but like with this, but wow, thanks to I guess whatever the government or the team for making this statue, man. At least, I mean that's what they could at least they could do
forever
for him.
immortalizing someone who, by all accounts, was a great man and an even better father.
Yeah, and I also feel like most families are who just go, they just also most of them just go for the bond. I mean everyone just take their children's kids, just okay, let's go for watch game together, have fun, all that. So yeah, that's cool. But damn, that ended badly. Sad. Rest in peace, man. All right, let's get next one started. It's a little bit longer than this one, but let's see. The name is The End of the Catch a Predator.
If you spend any considerable amount of time here on YouTube, then chances are you're at least somewhat familiar with the show To Catch a Predator.
To Catch a Predator. Maybe?
On Dateline, the show was incredibly popular, with its host Chris Hansen being launched into stardom for his role exposing pedophiles on the internet.
I have heard that name.
How you doing?
Oh, yeah. I think so. I have seen one episode or one kind of, scene of this show. I kind of remember that the guy comes and like this, what literally just happened. That's what I kind of remember.
That chair, please.
At the time, there was really nothing else like this on TV, and was widely viewed as one of the most entertaining shows out there, which has caused it to find a second life here on YouTube.
I think so. I have seen this one. I think so. I have seen this episode or this kind of clip.
As re-uploads of its episodes have been viewed as many as
58 million views. Men bring pizza. Yeah, I think
million plus times. To this day, the show remains immensely popular, and during its television run, the same was true. Which led me to wonder how or why it was ever taken off the air.
Yeah.
I mean, it was entertaining, popular, and with the internet exploding in recent years, the content...
Even now, many people are doing this kind of, I won't call it show, but they are doing their best to catch them. Like some channels are specifically made or doing this or recording this just to catch the predators, so which is good. But yeah, what this one shut down? Why?
Would seemingly be endless. Yet somehow, this show only lasted 3 years. And that's when I realized that there's actually a very specific reason why To Catch a Predator was pulled from the air. And it's one of the darker TV stories I've ever heard.
Really?
During the fall of 2007, Perverted Justice, the team that To Catch a Predator used to find their predators, had set up a decoy account on MySpace, posing as a 13-year-old boy. And before long, another user had taken the bait, reaching out to the fake child in the hopes of sparking an intimate relationship. According to the user's account, he was a 19-year-old college student that happened to live in the same area. However, upon doing some light digging, the Perverted Justice team discovered that the man was actually in his late 50s. His name was Louis Condrat, and although his behavior was similar to essentially all other predators in the show's run, sending explicit messages and pornographic images, despite knowing he was speaking to a child, Louis was different in one respect.
Why?
It seems that Condrat was in a position of power, working as a chief felony assistant district attorney for Rockwall County. This was setting up to be To Catch a Predator's biggest catch to date, and exposing him would not only mean bringing him to justice, but also bringing in great ratings for the show. Though there was one major issue. Upon engaging the decoy for a few hours and even calling to speak to him...
Hello?
Hey, Will.
Hey, what are you doing?
Nothing. What are you doing?
Nothing.
No?
No, I was looking up to see how to get to where you are.
Still thinking about me?
Yeah, where's your right hand?
It's in my pocket.
In your pocket? What are you doing with your right hand in your pocket?
Louis stopped responding and seemed to recognize the grave error he was making and began deleting all content from his account. And as a few days passed, it was clear that Louis was not going to be visiting their sting house, which meant no program and no justice. However, the To Catch a Predator team was not going to let this go easily, with the crew coming up with a plan that had never been done before in the history of the show.
What?
They were going to bring the program to Condrat. And so on November 5th, Hansen and his crew would visit Condrat's house with a group of officers and an arrest and search warrant. This would not be without controversy though, as the warrants supposedly contained wrong information like the wrong county and the wrong date, meaning that they would likely struggle to hold up in court and probably should have never been acted on. Despite this, the crew urged law enforcement to act anyway, rushing the ordeal to assure they got their guy. And so the police agreed, first calling Conrad and then knocking on his door for multiple hours.
Why I feel like they're gonna catch a wrong guy and he's gonna, sue them or something like that, something like that will happen.
Neither attempt saw any results. And growing impatient with the whole ordeal, they then called in the SWAT team to surround and eventually breach the house, which they would do around 3 p.m., barging into the home and surrounding Conrad at gunpoint.
Okay.
As this was all happening, To Catch a Predator had their cameras trained on the outside of the home, awaiting the shot of Conrad being ushered into a cop car and driven away, unaware that this time, things were going to end much differently. Inside, Conrad would yell to the officers, "I'm not gonna hurt anybody," before brandishing his pistol, and rather than pointing it at the officers, he instead pointed it at himself.
Oh man.
The officers line up in formation and head to the back of the house. Then we hear a faint crack. The officers force their way in. For almost 5 minutes, we don't see or hear anything. Then Lieutenant Adina Barber of the Murphy Police Department comes out and tells us what happened.
As they made entry, they confronted the suspect. I believe he was in the hallway, and he told them he wasn't going to hurt them. And then,
and he had a pistol in his hand.
This single gunshot would essentially mark the end of To Catch a Predator, as in the time following, NBC would be hit with a $105 million lawsuit from Conrad's own sister. And though this lawsuit was settled privately with undisclosed conditions, the show was already on death's door, which was not helped by the national media dogpiling on To Catch a Predator, as well as perverted justice.
But now there are serious questions about what goes on behind the scenes.
Whose sting was this? The police departments or the vigilantes hired?
Like, so they didn't had any evidence or anything against this guy who just, who just did that thing to himself. Like, they did not had any evidence and they just, went to his home and wanted to catch him. Like, did they have any warrant or anything like that? I mean, if they did not, goddamn, sue the hell out of them, man. For sure. Sue the hell out of the show or whatever channel, all that, man. They should. If yes, okay, but why they had to do all that, so many police cars, cops going into his house and all that, man. But I feel like they did not had much evidence against him and they just went on for him, So that's why, and I hope they win, dude.
By Dateline.
You don't have the full transcripts?
I don't know. That's exactly part of my problem. The police department can't tell me whether or not I have the full transcripts.
Did your arresting officers, did they see the chats before they made the arrest?
In some cases, yes.
Did they see the entire chats?
Making it impossible, says District Attorney Roach, to mount a successful prosecution. Charges have been dropped against every single person arrested in the Murphy sting.
With these claims causing some to believe that the show was more interested in entertainment rather than justice, and whether that's true or not, To Catch a Predator would be cancelled, marking a tragic end to one of the strangest, yet most compelling TV shows ever to be broadcast, thanks solely to this grim moment.
Damn, sucks though. What's this one? Next one. Killers on TV. No way.
As evident by the first batch of cases in this video, many of the darkest moments in TV history come from shocking accidents or overall disturbing events that play out for the cameras to see. However, there are a select few examples where television moments only really become dark long after they're aired and more context is given. For example, in our first installment of the series,
I feel
we discussed Renard Spivey.
Ask him, he's been married for how?
I have seen this one. This was, I think so, part 1 or part 5. I think so it was in. And yeah, this guy, there was some joke about his and him being not happy or happy in his marriage, all that. And people started laughing. And after a few years or something, I think so, a few months, he killed his wife, you know, and whatever. But I feel like for this case, I think so they're gonna it says killers on TV. I think so what is gonna be like that they're gonna have some guys play a role or do something on live TV or some kind of, you know, TV series or TV show, and later they're gonna find out that they were killers, you know, or later they will kill someone or something like that, you know. Yes, I feel like something.
How long?
Over 27 years.
Over 27
Look at him though,
years.
he look mad. You don't look happy, brother. You don't look happy.
63-year-old Renard
Yep,
Spivey
there you go.
accused of killing his wife, 52-year-old Patricia Spivey, after an argument that turned deadly.
The man who had murdered his wife years after making an appearance on television, with one joke at his expense during this time aging like milk. The concept of killers finding their way onto TV is one that I've recently become fascinated by, with the case always being brought up in tandem with this conversation being the dating game killer. In 1978, a man named Rodney Alcala had found his way onto the popular show The Dating Game, earning a date with Cheryl Bradshaw above all other contestants. However, this date would never actually materialize, as upon meeting him away from the cameras, Cheryl found the man to be creepy and ultimately declined to speak with him any further.
Damn.
And as it turns out, that decision may have saved her life. During the time in which this episode was shot and aired, Rodney was in the midst of a massive killing spree, ending the lives of at least 8 people that we know of, though many claim his true number of victims is shockingly closer to 130, due to the fact that they had found a stash of over 1,000 photographs detailing women, young boys, and men that Rodney had taken, many of which are believed to have been unidentified victims of him. And what makes this all the more chilling is the fact that Rodney had told the show that he was a photographer, and it was even mentioned during the program.
Now let's see, Baxter number 1 is a successful photographer who got his start when his father found him in the dark room at the age of 13, fully developed.
Given the shocking nature of this case, it's really no wonder why it's become so popular, especially here on YouTube. But surprisingly, there are quite a few examples of killers finding their way onto our TV screens that have happened within the past decade alone. And one that even happened within just days of writing this script.
What?
One obscure example comes from the show Celebrity MasterChef, where in the background we can see an inconspicuous man serving food cooked by the contestants of the show. The man was one of a dozen unnamed chefs, just helping out, typically out of view of the camera. But for this one split second, and likely to the recognition of no one, we see him. This man's name is Stephen Port, a 40-year-old living in South London, who has since come to be known as the Grindr Killer. Stephen is responsible for the deaths of 4 men he met on the Grindr app, all of whom he had lured to his flat and poisoned with fatal doses of GHB, before going on to violate and then dump their corpses. With these murders transpiring not long after this fleeting moment was broadcast for the world to see, making me wonder just how many other killers have appeared in glimpses on TV that have not yet been recognized. Maybe they were walking in a crowd or panned over at a sporting event.
Yeah, that's
hiding
crazy.
in plain sight. But killers don't just get shown as background characters or as one-off contestants for just a single episode. Sometimes they are permanently etched in the show's history. In the summer of 2020, Food Network began airing a season of Worst Cooks in America, one of their more popular shows, and this one was set to be a big one, as it marked the program's 20th season. The competition was all in good fun, with lots of humorous and memorable moments, leading to the eventual finale on the 2nd of July. And in that episode, the fan favorite Ariel Robinson would take home the crown as winner of the show, along with a grand prize of $25,000.
Whoa,
However, if you were to look for this season today, let's say on demand, on streaming services, or even on TV.
So it's not there anymore, huh?
TV, you would be
videos currently unavailable to watch.
Left with no results. As its existence has been practically wiped from the face of
21
of the earth. And given what happened after the season ended, this comes as little surprise. Upon winning the competition, Ariel Robinson settled back into her normal life with her husband, Jerry. And after securing life-changing funds from the show, the couple made the admirable decision to foster a young girl named Victoria. whom they eventually decided to officially adopt in January of 2021. On the 6th of the month, just over a week before the adoption was set to be finalized, Ariel would take to Twitter to boast about her parenting, stating, "I'm a mama bear.
I'm a mama bear and I'll do anything to protect my children and make sure their future are equally bright because they have the same opportunities and are treated as equal the way God made them. There should be no white privilege, only American privilege." Alright?
"And I'll do anything to protect my children and make sure their futures are equally bright." A statement that seemed in line with her already stellar reputation as being a fun-loving person who dedicated her life to loving her kids. However, no one could have imagined the devastating turn this family was heading for. 5 days after Victoria's adoption, Ariel's husband, Jerry, would dial 911 stating,
"You have an emergency. Our daughter is unresponsive. She's drunk a lot of water. We're trying to pump CPR to get out. Our 3-year-old daughter is choking on water right now."
Your 3-year-old daughter is what?
Choking on water?
Choking on water right now. We need help immediately.
Okay, we'll get help on the way.
This led to emergency responders rushing to the scene where the young girl was found unresponsive on the floor of her bedroom and was soon after declared dead.
Oh my god, dude, what the hell?
Across her body were countless bruises which Ariel claimed to have been from their attempts at CPR. Though bizarrely, during the whole ordeal, her story would quickly change, as she soon began blaming her 7-year-old son, whom she stated had a history of anger issues.
Really? Don't tell me later they're gonna find you.
Believing potentially he had killed her. Already, something very strange was happening with the situation, and it only became more bizarre when a forensic pathologist confirmed that Victoria had died not from choking, but from blunt force injuries and internal bleeding.
Oh man.
Essentially meaning that her death was no accident.
Right.
This launched a full-scale investigation into the couple, where it would later be discovered that on the day before her death, Victoria had gotten sick at church, causing Ariel to undress her and make her walk out of the building in just her underwear, telling her, "Oh, you're cold. You're cold. Girls that make themselves throw up deserve to be cold."
Whoa. I guess the kid threw up and she's giving her a punishment for throwing up. And it's cold and she's saying I'm cold, but she's saying, "Oh, you're cold, you're cold. Girls who throw up deserve to be cold." What?
This anger seemingly boiled over the next morning, where, ironically, Victoria was refusing to eat pancakes that Ariel had cooked, which led to Ariel grabbing her, dragging her up the stairs, and beating her with a paddle.
Oh my god.
According to Jerry, who was working in the backyard at the time, he could hear the beating from outside, claiming that it lasted almost an hour.
Oh my god.
He did nothing to stop it. And as a result,
man.
Victoria began to bleed internally, and later would pass away due to the traumatic injury she had suffered by the hands of her soon-to-be mother. When it was all said and done, Ariel Robinson was arrested and will now spend the rest of her life in prison, so soon after her triumphant win on Worst Cooks. Since the news initially broke on this, the entirety of Season 20 has been removed from the internet and has been wiped from the show's history.
Wow, they removed the whole season, huh? For her, not an episode, whole season. So I feel like she was in whole season, you know, some clips and all that, because she was the contestant of the whole season, I guess. So they had to remove it. Damn, bro, sucks, dude. I mean, it still have a lot to go for the Killers on TV part, but damn, that is sad, dude. You could have just left her alone. Why you needed to? Why you are so bad to adopt a child when you're posting on Twitter, "Oh, blah blah blah, child should be this," you know, like she's praising child, you know, she's acting like she's such a good mother. She will be such a good mother, and look at her.
But for me, one of the most chilling moments in Ariel's history on television came soon after her victory, when a local news station would come to her home for an interview.
Now I truly am not the worst cook in America.
But she is the winner of Food Network's Worst Cooks in America Season 20.
Yes, I am putting mayo in a glove.
Ariel Robinson lives in Simpsonville.
Where inside, we see a sign proudly displayed by Ariel, touting her as the #1 mom.
Really?
Soon after, this same local news station would become the leading reporters on her murder case. Despite this all transpiring within just a few years, this surprisingly is not even the most recent example of a killer being prominently featured on TV, as news broke
I'm
this
sure a
final
lot of
example
them are
just
there, man.
days ago. In January of 2020, the widely popular show Family Feud featured the Bleefnick family, who would go on to win the episode and leave a few iconic moments in its wake, with the most relevant coming from this man, Timothy Bleefnick. During one of the segments, the question was posed, "What is your biggest mistake you made at your wedding?" To which Timothy responds with,
"Honey, I love you, but said I do." Not my mistake. Not my mistake. I love my wife. I'm gonna get in trouble.
Why Steve looks so angry?
For that, aren't I?
If you've seen the show before,
Yeah, you're
you know
gonna get
that
in
this
trouble.
type of humor is the norm, and jokes like this are made in virtually every single episode.
Yeah, I know.
But this one would later take on a much more sinister tone due to the events that unfolded not long after the show had aired.
What?
Around a year after Timothy's moment in the limelight, he and his wife Rebecca would actually separate, not officially divorcing, but living in separate homes and seemingly not getting along either, as it was recently
Of course that's gonna happen. What he expected. I mean,
revealed that Rebecca had filed for a restraining order against both Timothy as well as his father, a clear indication that she believed her life was in some sort of danger. Fast forward to February of 2023, and the two were finally making headway on finalizing an official divorce, before on the 23rd day of the month, gunshots rang out from Rebecca's home.
Police say 41-year-old Rebecca Bleefnick was found by a family member Thursday. Police say she had been shot multiple times.
When police arrived on scene, Rebecca was sadly no longer alive.
Dude.
And it wouldn't take long for investigators to turn their sights on Timothy. On March 13th, police would arrest the now 39-year-old in connection with his soon-to-be ex-wife's death, charging him with 2 counts of first-degree murder.
Look at that. First-degree murder and home invasion.
And blaming
as
him
well.
for the shooting that took place at her home, with his mugshot showing him as completely unrecognizable to the man we saw on TV just years before. The whole situation is incredibly disturbing, and what makes it even worse is just how beloved Timothy and his family were in their hometown. I mean, they literally had community watch parties to cheer on the family that can still be found here on YouTube.
Wow.
Listen, it was so much fun. I'm so happy and appreciative of the support of the community, so thanks.
Making the events soon to come all the more tragic. And given everything that's happened since the show aired, and since Timothy said this iconic joke, I think it's very possible that there was at least some truth to his words.
Yeah. Damn, dude. I hate these though. For real. This sucks, dude. All of these sucks. Especially these killers on TV one, man. Damn. Well, what we got at the last? The Maritza Martin incident. Is she some kind of a star or someone? Some
Our final
Spanish
entry takes us
Brazil?
to the tragic passing of 15-year-old Maritza Martin back in November of 1992.
15-year-old.
The young girl had recently discovered that she was 13 weeks pregnant, much to the disappointment of her family, and subsequently ended her life as a result, which momentarily thrusted her parents, Maritza Martin and Emilio Nunez, into the public eye. The two had been separated since before she was even born, with Maritza gaining full custody, something that Emilio would later claim she had used to keep his daughter away from him, as the two supposedly spent very little time together. As a result, Nunez began publicly blaming Maritza for the death of their daughter, claiming that she and her new husband had been abusive towards her and had even struck her upon discovering she was pregnant. Making matters worse, Nunez would go on to allege that Maritza never even told him that their daughter had died and had only found out an hour before the funeral from a friend. Now, I want to stress that there is absolutely no information I could find to fully confirm any of what Nunez was claiming, and with many elements of Nunez's story, the jury is still out, though in his own mind, this truly seems to be what he believed, and this is where the dark side of television began to rear its ugly head. For whatever reason, the news station Ocorio Asi had decided to cover Emilio's allegations against Maritza, seemingly taking his word at face value and launching a full-scale story into the case. It started with Emilio being interviewed by a reporter from the station named Ingrid Cruz, which transpired in the vicinity of his daughter's grave. During the questioning, Ingrid would ask him things like, "What would you tell your daughter if she was still alive? And how did you feel when you saw your dead daughter in the casket?" Her questions were clearly crossing the line, and things would only get worse from here, as while they were filming this segment, Maritza herself had arrived on location to Yuandra's final resting place.
Doña Maritza. Marisa, ¿me daría una reacción para ocurrió así, por favor? Sobre la muerte de su hija Yoandra. Una reacción de usted.
Why is she sitting in there like, yo, what's up? Like,
upon her arrival, Nunez immediately removed himself from the situation, and Maritza was instead swarmed by Cruz, who began bombarding her with questions, each of which were ignored, as she clearly was uncomfortable and didn't want to speak to the cameras, and was just trying to get to her daughter's grave.
Quiero saber por qué, la reacción, el por qué usted quiere esquivarnos a nosotros.
It's clear in the footage that tensions were rising by the second, as it seemed apparent that Cruz was clearly attempting to provoke her into any sort of reaction. Until suddenly, the unthinkable happened.
What?
Su hija tomó esa decisión de quitarse la vida.
What is she asking?
Usted no tiene nada que decir.
Gunshot.
In a split second, and out of absolutely nowhere, we see Nunez charge back into frame. As though he initially appeared to be doing the responsible thing by walking away from the conflict, he had instead actually returned to his car, with the sole purpose of retrieving his pistol, which he would then use to shoot Maritza over and over and over again, all while the camera was still rolling.
¡Vámonos, vámonos! ¿Qué tú hiciste? ¿Qué tú has hecho?
Hold on. His pistol, which he would then use to shoot Maritza over and over and over again, all while the camera was still rolling.
Damn.
Hey, get in the car. We just shot a woman, possibly coming after us. He's psychotic, man. Where am I? What funeral home am I at?
¿Cómo se llama esto?
Where am I at? Somebody shot!
Maritza would be shot a total of 12 times.
Oh my god.
In turn, her life would come to an end, as Nunez stood over her yelling, "I should have done this a long time ago."
Damn.
When the smoke cleared, Nunez would be arrested and sentenced to life with a possibility of parole in 25 years. And what's most frustrating is just how avoidable this really seemed to be. Maritza herself had actually requested a restraining order against Nunez not long before her murder, but was surprisingly denied, as police stated that it would only anger him more. With this happening despite the fact that police were already well aware of Nunez's violent temper, as authorities were literally called on scene for Yuandra's funeral, as Nunez had threatened to kill other members of the family.
Wow.
He was obviously a very troubled man, who following the loss of his daughter, needed help more than anything. Yet even after all this one news station decided to not only platform him, but to provoke him, right before the two had crossed paths, leaving us with one of the darkest moments to ever transpire in the history of television.
Yeah, that is crazy, dude. Well, these were the darkest moments in TV history part 2. Not gonna lie. Last ones were crazy. And in the last one, I feel like news reporters also played a big part in the death of that lady, Martinez or whatever, what her name was. I feel like they played some part in that too. Like they were provoking her. What do you want? You know, what do news channels or news reporter do? They always like annoying, or they want some kind of to get their get their viewers or get all the views than other channel. So I guess I feel like they played some kind of part in her death, or making both of them, making at least the guy angry, you know. And man, these all of them are crazy and sad and suck, dude, for real. Like really bad incidents, and some are accidents, and but some are done on purpose. But overall, really sad, all of them, for real. Yep. I'll see you guys in the next one, man.